Bandeyam Shri Guru Shiyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shirishikam Vitam Scha Om Agyana Timarandasya Gyanajana Shalakya Shakshuram Militamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supurakam Garaganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindabhidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Bande Vishwagurun Shah Divyat Bhagavat Premno Ebijapranam Devam Divyatanum Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Banditam Shubharam Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Sridharam Vanshakopatarubyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami with translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And this is Madhya-lila, chapter 16, the Lord's attempt to go to Vrindaban. Verse number 1. Goro Jhanam Goramega Sinchan Swalukanamritai Bhavagni Dagda Janata Viruda Samajivayat. By the nectar of his personal glance, the cloud known as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu poured water upon the garden of Gadadhar and revived the people who were like creepers and plants burning in the forest fire of material existence. Jaya Jaya Gora Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhaktarinda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. So you can see from the first verse summary that the emphasis of this is going to be how Mahaprabhu is traveling to Vrindaban, but in particular, he's giving mercy to Bengal, to Gauradesh, because he'd left there and now he's returning. Prabhor hoila icha chaite Vrindavan shunya Prataparudra hoila viman. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to go to Vrindaban, and Maharaj Prataparudra became very morose upon hearing this news. Sarvabhauma Ramananda ani duijan duhake kohena raja vinoy bachan. The king therefore called for Sarvabhauma, Bhattacharya, and Ramananda Ray, and he spoke the following submissive words to them. Niladri chadi prabhur mana anyatra jaite tomara kora hajatna tahare rakite. Prataparudra Maharaj said, please endeavor to keep Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here at Jagannath Puri, for now he is thinking of going elsewhere. Tahabine Raja Muri Nahibai Gosai Rakite Koraha Nana Upai. Without Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this kingdom is not pleasing to me. Therefore, please try to devise some plan to enable the Lord to stay here. Ramananda Sarvabhauma Duijan Stane Tabe Jukti Kore Prabhu Jab Vrindavane. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself consulted with Ramananda Ray and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, saying, I shall go to Vrindaban. Duheko he ratachatra koradarshan kartika aile tabe korahagaman. Ramananda Ray and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested the Lord to first observe the Ratha Yatra festival. Then, when the month of Kartik arrived, he could go to Vrindaban. Kartik aile kohe ebe mahasita dolachatra deki jao e balarita. However, when the month of Kartik came, they both told the Lord, now it is very cold. It is better that you wait to see the Dol Yatra festival and then go. That will be very nice. So Dol Yatra is the time of Mahaprabhu's appearance in March. He said, now it is very cold. It's better that you wait to see the Dol Yatra festival and then go. That will be very nice. Dol Yatra is holy. And it's at the time of Mahaprabhu's appearance. Ajikali kashi utai bibida upai jaite samatina deya vichederabai. In this way, they both presented many impediments, indirectly not granting the Lord permission to go to Vrindaban. They did this because they were afraid of separation from him. Jajapi swatantra prabhu nahi nirantar bhakti cha vina prabhu na kore gaman. Although the Lord is completely independent and no one can check him, he still did not go without the permission of his devotees. Tritiya vatsare sab godera bhaktagan nilachale chalite sabar hoilaman. Then for the third year, all the devotees of Bengal wanted to return again to Jagannath Puri. Sabe meli gela advaita charjara pashe prabhudekite acharya chalila ulase. All the Bengali devotees gathered around Advaitacharya, and in great jubilation, the Acharya departed for Jagannath Puri to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jajapi Prabhura Agya Godete Rakite Nityananda Prabhuke Prema Bhakti Prakashite Tatapi Jalila Mahaprabhure Tekite Nityananda Prema Cheshta Ke Pare Bhujite. Although the Lord told Nityananda Prabhu to stay in Bengal and spread ecstatic love of God, Nityananda left to go see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who can understand Nityananda Prabhu's ecstatic love? Acharya Ratna Vidyanidhi Srivasramai Vasudeva Murari Govindari Teenbai Raghava Pandita Nija Jali Sajaya Kulina Gramabasi Chali Patadori Laya. All the devotees of Navadip departed, including Acharya Ratna, Vidyanidhi, Srivas, Ramai, Vasudeva, Murari, Govinda and his two brothers, and Raghava Pandit, who took bags of assorted foods. The inhabitants of Kulinagram carrying silken ropes also departed. Kandabasi Narahare Sri Raghunandana Sarva Bhakta Chalitara Kekoreganan. Narahari and Sri Raghunandana, who were from the village of Kanda, and many other devotees also departed. Who can count them? Shivananda Sen Kore Gate Samadan Sabare Palaya Kore Sukeloya Jan. Shivananda Sen, who was in charge of the party, made arrangements to clear the tax collecting centers. He took care of all the devotees and happily traveled with them. Sabar Sarvakarya Koren Dena Basastan Shivananda Jani Udiya Patera Sandan. Shivananda Sen took care of all the necessities the devotees required. In particular, he made arrangements for residential quarters, and he knew the roads of Orissa. Sebat Sara Prabhu Dekite Sab Takurani Chalila Charyamag Sange Achuta Janani. That year, all the devotees' wives, Takuranis, also went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sita Devi, the mother of Achyutananda, went with Advaitacharya. Srivas Pandita Sange Chalila Malini, Shivananda Sange Chale Tahara Grihini. Srivas Pandit also took his wife Malini, and the wife of Shivananda Sen also went with her husband. Shivanander Balaknam Chaitanya Das Teho Chali Jache Prabhure Dekite Ulas. Chaitanya Das, the son of Shivananda Sen, also jubilantly accompanied them as they went to see the Lord. Acharya Ratna Sange Chale Tahara Grihini Tahara Premara Kata Kohitena Jani. The wife of Chandrasekhar, Acharya Ratna, also went. I cannot describe the greatness of Chandrasekhar's love for the Lord. Sab Thakurani Mahaprabhu ke Bikadite Prabodhanana Priya Drabya Nila Garahoite. To offer Chaitanya Mahaprabhu various types of food, all the wives of the great devotees brought from home various dishes that pleased Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shivananda Sen Kore Sab Samadan Gatijala Prabodhi Dana Sabare Basastan. As stated, Shivananda Sen made all arrangements for the party's necessities. In particular, he pacified the men in charge of levying taxes and found resting places for everyone. Bhakyadiya Koran Sabar Sarvata Paulane Paramanande Jana Prabhupada Darshane. Shivananda Sen also supplied food to all the devotees and took care of them along the way. In this way, feeling great happiness, he went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. Remunaya Asya Koila Gopinath Darshan Acharya Korila Tahan Kirtananartan. When they all arrived at Remuna, they went to see Lord Gopinath. In the temple there, Bhattacharya danced and chanted. Nityanandar Parichay Sab Sevakas Sane Bahuta Samana Ashe Koila Sevak Gane. All the priests of the temple had been previously acquainted with Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Therefore, they all came to offer great respects to the Lord. Se Ratri Sab Mahanta Tahai Rahila Barakir Aniage Sevakadarila. That night, all the great devotees remained in the temple, and the priests brought 12 pots of kheer, condensed milk, which they placed before Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Kheer Banti Sabare Dila Prabhu Nityananda, Kheera Prasad Paya Sabar Bodhila Ananda. When the condensed milk was placed before Nityananda Prabhu, he distributed the prasadam to everyone, and thus everyone's transcendental bliss increased. So Nityananda Prabhu distributed the kheer to everyone. Madhava Purer Kata Gopala Stapan Tahare Gopala Jaiche Magila Chandan. They then all discussed the story of Madhavendra Puri's installation of the Gopal deity, and they discussed how Gopal begged sandalwood from him. Taralage Gopinata Kira Chori Koila Mahaprabhur Mukeage Ekata Shunila. It was Gopinath who stole condensed milk for the sake of Madhavendra Puri. This incident had been previously related by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Sekata Sabar Madhye Kohe Nityananda Shunya Vaishnava Mane Bodhila Ananda. The same narration was then related by Sri Nityananda Prabhu to all the devotees, and their transcendental bliss increased as they heard the story again. Emata chali chali katakaila Saki Gopala Deki Sabe Edina Rohila. Walking and walking in this way, the devotees arrived at the city of Katak, where they remained for a day and saw the temple of Sakshi Gopal. Sakhi Gopalera Kata Kohe Nityananda Shunya Vaishnava Mane Barila Ananda. When Nityananda Prabhu described all the activities of Sakshi Gopal, transcendental bliss increased in the minds of all the Vaishnavas. Prabhu ke milite sabar utkanta antare shigra kore aila sabe Sri Nilachala. Everyone in the party was very anxious at heart to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, they hastily went on to Jagannath Puri. Ataranala ke aila gosai shunya duimala pataila govinda hatediya. When they all arrived at a bridge called Ataranala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing the news of their arrival, sent 2 garlands with Govinda, with his servant Govinda. Duimala Govinda, Duijane Paraila, Advaita Avatar, Gosai, Borasuka Paila. Govinda offered the 2 garlands to Advaitacharya and Nityananda Prabhu, and they both became very happy. Tahai Arambila, Tataya Ramba, Koila, Krishna Sankirtan, Nachite, Chali, Aila Duijan. Indeed, they began chanting the holy name of Krishna on that very spot, and in this way, dancing, Advaitacharya and Nityananda Prabhu reached Jagannath Puri. Punamala Diya Swarupari Nijagan Agu Bori Pataila Sachira Nandan. Then for the second time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent garlands through Swarup Damodar and other personal associates. Thus they went forward, sent by the son of Mother Sachi. Narendra Siyatahan Sabare Milila Mahaprabhur Dattamala Sabare Pataila. When the devotees from Bengal reached Lake Narendra, Swarup Damodar and the others met them and offered them the garlands given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Simadwara Nikate Aila Shuni Gorarai Apaneya Siya Prabhu Milila Sabai. When the devotees finally reached the Lion Gate, or the Simadwar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the news and personally went to meet them. Sabloya Koila Jagannath Darshan, Sabloya Ila Puna Apana Pavan. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his devotees visited Lord Jagannath. Finally, accompanied by them all, he returned to his own residence. Baninath Kashimisha Prasada Anila Swahaste Sabare Prabhu Prasada Kaujaila. Baninath Rai and Kashi Mishra then brought a large quantity of prasadam, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu distributed it with his own hand and fed them all. Purva Vatsare Jara Jai Basastan Tahansa Bataya Koraila Vishram. In the previous year, everyone had his own particular residence, and the same residences were again offered. Thus they all went to take rest. Mata Bhaktagan Rahila Charimas Prabhura Sahita Kore Kirtana Vilas. For 4 continuous months, all the devotees remained there and enjoyed chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purvavat Rata Jatra Kala Jabiaila Sabaloya Gundicha Mandira Prakashaila. As in the previous year, they all washed the Gundicha temple when the time for Ratha Yatra arrived. Kulina Grami Patadori Jagannath Dila Purvavat Rata Agre Nartana Korila. The inhabitants of Kulinagram delivered silken ropes for Lord Jagannath, and as previously, they all danced before the Lord's car. Bahunritya Kore Puna Chalila Ujjane Bapitire Tahanjai Korila Vishrame. After dancing a great deal, they all went to a nearby garden and took rest beside a lake. Radhiyek Vipra Teho Nityananda Das Mahabhagavan Teho Nama Krishnadas. A Brahma named Krishnadas, who was a resident of Radhadesh and a servant of Lord Nityananda's, was a very fortunate person. Gatabore Prabhurteho Abhisheka Koila Tara Abhisheke Prabhu Mahatripta Hoila. It was Krishnadas who filled a great water pot and poured it over the Lord while he was taking his bath. The Lord was greatly satisfied by this. Balagande Bogara Kap Bahu Prashada Aila Sab Sange Mahaprabhu Prashada Kaila. The remnants of food offered to the Lord at Balagandi then arrived in great quantity, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his devotees ate it. Purvavat Rata Jatra Koila Darshan Hera Panchami Jatra Deki Loya Bhaktagan. As in the previous year, the Lord with all the devotees saw the Ratha Yatra festival and the Hera Panchami festival as well. Acharya Gosai Prabhur Koila Nimantran Taramadje Koila Jaiche Jada Vaishan. Bhattacharya then extended an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and there was a great rainstorm connected with that incident. Okay. Shivas Vistare Varnijachan Dasha Vrindaban Shivas Prabhure Tabe Koila Nirantar Vistare Varnijachan Dasha Vrindaban Shivas Prabhure Tabe Koila Nimantran. All these episodes have been elaborately described by Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur. Then one day, Srivas Thakur extended an invitation to the Lord. Prabhura Priya Vyanjana Sab Randena Malini Bhaktyedashe Abhimana Snehete Janani. The Lord's favorite vegetables were cooked by Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas Thakur. She devotedly considered herself a maidservant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in affection, she was just like a mother. Acharya Ratna Adijata Mukhya Bhaktagan Madhye Madhye Prabhure Korana Nimantran. All the chief devotees headed by Chandrasekhar, Acharya Ratna, would extend invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu periodically. Chaturma Shanta Puna Nityanande Loya Kiba Jukti Kori Nitya Nibrete Basya. At the end of the 4-month Chaturmasya period, Mahaprabhu again consulted with Nityananda Prabhu daily in a solitary place. No one could understand what their consultation was about. Acharya Gosai Prabhu ke kohe tare tore Acharya tarja pade keho bujitena pari. Ujitena pare Acharya Gosai Prabhu ke kohe tare tore Acharya nija pare keho bujitena pare. Then Srila Advaitacharya said something to Mahaprabhu through gestures and read some poetic passages which no one could understand. Taramukha deki hase sachera nandan angikora jane acharya korana nartan. Seeing the face of Advaitacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled, understanding that the Lord had accepted the proposal. Advaitacharya started to dance. Kiba prarthana, kiba agya, kehona bujila, alingana kore prabhu, tare vidai dila. No one knew what Advaitacharya requested or what the Lord ordered. No one knew what Advaitacharya requested or what the Lord ordered. After embracing the Acharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade him farewell. Nityananda Kohe Prabhu Shunaha Sripad Aj E Ami Magi Tumi Koraha Boja Nityananda Kohe Prabhu Shunaha Sripad Eami Magi Tumi Koraha Prasad. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Nityananda Prabhu, "Please hear me, O holy man. I now request something of you. Kindly grant my request." Prativarsha Nilachala Tumina Ashiba Gorera Himora Icha Safala Korila. Do not come to Jagannath Puri every year, but stay in Bengal and fulfill my desire. Tahan Siddhi Kore Hena Anyena Dekiye Amara Dushkara Karma Toma Hoite Hoye. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "You can perform a task that even I cannot do, but for you I cannot find anyone in Gadadhar who can fulfill my mission there." Nityananda Kohe Ame Deha Tumi Pran Deho Pranad Binanahe Eta Praman. Nityananda Prabhu replied, "O Lord, you are the life and I am the body. There is no difference between the body and life itself, but life is more important than the body." Achintya Shakti Kora Tumi Tahara Gatan Jay Koraha Se Kore Nahika Niyam. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like, and whatever you make me do, I do without restriction. So Nityananda is saying, "O Lord, you are the life and I am the body. There is no difference between the body and life itself, but life is more important than the body. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like, and therefore you make me do, I do, and whatever you make me do, I do without restriction. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like, and whatever you make me do, I do without restriction." Tari Vidai Dila Prabhu Korea Lingan Emata Vidai Dila Sabhaktagan. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Nityananda Prabhu and bade him farewell. He then bade farewell to all the other devotees. Kulinagrami Pari Kulinagrami Purvat Kulinagrama Purvavat Koilani Vedan Prabhu Agya Kora Amar Kartavyas Sadan. As in the previous year, one of the inhabitants of Kulinagram submitted a petition to the Lord, saying, "My Lord, kindly tell me what my duty is and how I should execute it." So previously, this question was asked, what's my duty and how should I execute it? And Mahaprabhu said, chant the holy name and serve the Vaishnavas. And then they asked, well, who is a Vaishnava? And that previous year, Mahaprabhu said, one who has just chanted the holy name one time. He's a Vaishnava and he should be respected in one's mind. Now, the next year, they're asking the same question. Kulina Grami Purvava Koilani Vedan Prabhu Agya Kora Amar Kartavyasadan. As in the previous year, one of the inhabitants of Kulina Gram submitted a petition to the Lord saying, "My Lord, kindly tell me what my duty is and how I should execute it." Prabhu Kohe Vaishnava Seva Nama Sankirtan Duikora Shigra Pabe Sri Krishna Charan. The Lord replied, "You should engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet." Lord replied, "You should always engage yourself in the service of the servants of Krishna and always chant the holy name of Krishna. If you do these two things, you will very soon attain shelter at Krishna's lotus feet." Te hokohe ke Vaishnava ke tara lakan tabihashe kohe Prabhu jani taran taraman. The inhabitants of Kalinagram said, the inhabitant of Kalinagram said, "Please let me know who is actually a Vaishnava and what his symptoms are." Understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and gave the following reply. Krishnanam nirantara jahara badane se Vaishnava shreshta bhaja tahara charane. A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. So this last year, Mahaprabhu said, anyone who has chanted the holy name one time is a Vaishnava, and that person should be respected in your mind. And this year, when they again asked the same question, Mahaprabhu replies, do Nam Sankirtan and serve the Vaishnavas. Again, they ask, well, who is a Vaishnava? What are his symptoms? And Mahaprabhu said, a person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. Barshantare Punatara Aiche Prashna Koila Vaishnavera Nira Vaishnavera Taratamoy Varshantare Punatara Aicha Prashna Koila Vaishnava Taratamya Prabhu Shikaila. The following year, the inhabitants of Kalinagram again asked the Lord the same question. Hearing this question, Mahaprabhu again taught them about the different types of Vaishnavas. So the following year, first year, Mahaprabhu said, anyone who's chanting the holy name one time is a Vaishnava and should be honored in one's mind. Then the next year, Mahaprabhu said, one who's always chanting one who's always chanting the holy name, and let's see. Person who's always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. So now we've gone from, we can say, Kanishtadhikari to Madhyamadhikari, and now they're asking the following year, Varshantare Puna Tara Aiche Prashna Koila Vaishnavera Taratjamya Prabhu Shikaila. The following year, the inhabitants of Kulinagram again asked the Lord the same question. Hearing this question, Mahaprabhu again taught them about the different types of Vaishnavas. Jaharadar Shane Muke Aishe Krishnanam Tahare Janiya Tume Vaishnava Pradhan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, a first-class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna, just by being present, by being visible. That's the first-class Vaishnava, the highest Vaishnava. Just by seeing him, one wants to chant the holy name. Kramakori Kohe Prabhu Vaishnava Lakan Vaishnava Vaishnavatar Ara Vaishnavatam. In this way, Mahaprabhu taught the distinctions between different types of Vaishnavas. The Vaishnava, Vaishnavatar, and Vaishnavatar means the better Vaishnava, the comparative platform, and then Vaishnavatam. Vaishnavatam means the best Vaishnava. This way Mahaprabhu taught the distinctions between different types of Vaishnavas, the Vaishnava, the Vaishnavatar, and the Vaishnavatam. He thus successively explained all the symptoms of a Vaishnava to the inhabitants of Kulinagram. And this is also developed by the instructions of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says that the one who has received the holy name from the spiritual master should be honored, compared with the beginning Vaishnava. Then honored in your mind. Then the Vaishnavas, then is to maintain association with the Vaishnava who's always chanting the holy name, who's now situated in the platform of being a fixed devotee in the service of the Lord. And the Vaishnavatam, that the most exalted Vaishnava, one is to try and serve that person with one's life. So it's compared to the Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and the Uttama Adhikari. The beginning Vaishnava, the Vaishnava Madhyamadhikari, who's preaching, Madhyamadhikari sees that one should worship the Lord, make friends with the devotees, preach to the innocent, and avoid the association of those persons who are demoniac, who are against the Vaishnavas. This way Mahaprabhu taught the distinctions between different types of Vaishnavas, the Vaishnava, Vaishnavatar, and Vaishnavatam. He thus successively explained all the symptoms of a Vaishnava to the inhabitants of Kulinagram. Ematasa Vaishnava Gadadhar Vidyanidhi Sevatsara Niladri Rohila. Finally, all the Vaishnavas returned to Bengal, but that year Pundarik Vidyanidhi remained at Jagannath Puri. Swarup Sahitatara Hoy Sakya Priti Dui Janai Krishna Katai Ekatra Istiti. Swarup Damodar and Pundarik Vidyanidhi had a friendly, intimate relationship. And as far as discussing topics about Krishna, they were situated on the same platform. So Swarup Damodar and Pundarik Vidyanidhi are friends, and they're both advanced Vaishnavas, of course. To be on the same platform as Swarup Damodar, the most exalted devotee, then you can understand that Pundarik Vidyanidhi is a very advanced Vaishnava. Gadadhar Pandit Teho Puna Madhya-lila Odan Tira Dine Chatra Chedekila. Pundarik Vidyanidhi initiated Gadadhar Pandit for the second time, and on the day of Odana Shashti, Pundarik Vidyanidhi saw the festival. So Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar were close friends. And then we have the story, which Guru Maharaj describes in detail in the Golden Volcano Divine Love about Pundarik Vidyanidhi and how he always liked to associate with Vaishnavas. He hadn't taken, at that time, initiation, but Mukunda told Pundarik Vidyanidhi, would you like to see a Vaishnava? Would you like to have the association of Vaishnava? And of course, Gadadhar Pandit was very eager to do that. But when he came to see Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who was a rich landholder from Bangladesh, the East Bengal, we can say better East Bengal, then when Gadadhar Pandit went with Mukunda to see him, they saw that he was very opulently dressed in silk clothes and perfumed hair and fine, like this, and sitting in an expensive bedstead and everything. And Gadadhar Pandit was thinking, what kind of Vaishnava is this? But then Mukunda began to sing verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, how Krishna is so merciful that he gave his mercy even to Putana, who came to kill him, and gave her, she offered her breast smeared with poison, and Krishna as a baby sucked on her breast, but also sucked out her life air. But in so doing, she was given liberation. She was elevated to the stage of Vatsalya Ras, of a mother. Because she had functioned in the position of a wet nurse, and the wet nurse is considered one of the seven mothers, and Mahaprabhu gave her the elevation to liberation and entrance into Vatsalya Ras, even though she was a demoness who came there to kill Krishna. And when Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard that, he went into ecstasy, tearing his clothes, pulling out his hair, rolling, destroying the whole room, everything. He was in such ecstasy, and then he went into trance for 7 hours. And of course, Gadadhar Pandit was shocked by that. Shocked. He was shocked. And he decided to accept Pundarik. He thought, I'm committed an offense to Pundarik Vidyanidhi. I should accept initiation from him. But first he asked Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is a very good idea. So Mahaprabhu approved that. Okay, Gadadhar Pandite Teho Puna Madhya-lila Odana Shastira Dine Jatra Jedekila. Pundarik Vidyanidhi initiated Gadadhar Pandit for the second time, gave him second initiation, that's what it means. Brahman initiation is called, Brahman is Dvija, or Dvijan, born for the second time. This is Gayatri mantra. Then one receives a Gayatri mantra and becomes a born-again Vaishnava. Okay, Gadadhar Pandit Teho Puna Mandradila Odana Shastera Dine Jatra J Dekila Pundarik Vidyanidhi, then received the Gayatri initiation, and on the day of Odana Shastri Pundarik Vidyanidhi saw the festival. So Odana Shastri means the first day of winter when the deities are given chadars to keep them warm. Jagannath there, Jagannath Purana Tata, Madhuya Vasan, Dekhiya, Sagrina Hoila, Vidyan Nidirman. When Pundarik Vidyani saw the Lord Jagannath was given a starched garment, he became disturbed. In this way, his mind was polluted. He was very angry with the pujaris, because they're not supposed to offer cloth which is stiff with starch. It's supposed to be washed first. But they didn't do that, and they offered. And why the cloth has starch in it, rice starch, and that's done so that the threads can be woven easily on the loom. Otherwise, they may not. It doesn't work so well. So threads are better when they're starched. They stay properly placed on the loom. But then that starched cloth, the cloth comes out starched, and one is supposed to wash that starched cloth before wearing it or putting it on the deity. When Pundarik Vidyanidhi saw that Lord Jagannath was given a starched garment, he became a little hateful. In this way, his mind was polluted. Sehratriye Jagannath Balai Aisya Duibai Charana Tare Hasya. That night the brothers, Lord Jagannath and Balaram, came to Pundarik Vidyanidhi and smiling began to slap him. Gala Fulila Charja Antareula Svistare Barninachan Brindavanadas. Although his cheeks were swollen from the slapping, Pundarik Vidyanidhi was very happy within. This incident has been elaborately described by Thakur Vrindaban Das. So, Pundarik Vidyanidhi was angry with the pujari for offering starched cloth, but that night Jagannath and Balaram came to him and began slapping him, and they were saying, "What's the matter? Our pujari isn't good enough for you? This is not good enough for you." And so they began slapping him, indicating, we're happy with this, so why you are getting disturbed? Every year, so Emata Pratyabda Aishe Godera Bhaktagan Prabhu Sange Rahikore Chatra Darshan. Every year the devotees in Bengal would come and stay with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see the Rath Yatra festival. Taramadye Jai Varshe Achaye Vishesh Vistariyage Taha Kahiba Nishesh. Whatever happened during those years that is worth noting shall be described later. Emata Mahaprabhu Charivat Saragela Dakina Jana Ashite Dui Vatsara Lagila. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed 4 years. He spent the first 2 on his tour to South India. Aradui Vatsara Chohe Vrindavana Chaite Ramananda Hate Prabhu Napare Chalite. The other 2 years Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindaban, but he could not leave Jagannath Puri because of Ramananda Ray's tricks. I'm going to pause here, and tomorrow we'll continue. I'm always a little concerned because I have this mic, and when I play the kartals, it sounds very loud. Doesn't really change it that much. Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Charavaya Nama Charavaya Maravaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Marana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhattacharya Sri Jiva Gopala Bhattadasa Raghunath H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Aite Vignana Shabishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Dasavar Pada Renu Mora Panchagras Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Harina Janame More Abhilas Me Janame More Abhilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas I Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindaban Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyas Hare Nam Sankirtana Kore Naratamodas Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Juki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyashta Tara Sajashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parabhajaka Charyashta Tara Sajashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishordas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Se Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindaban Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagwat Ki Jai. Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishvavarenya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhya-lila Brinda Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai. Sri Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Dham Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Kuladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sri Vrindaban Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan. Sham Kuna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Shri Purushottama Dham Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Ju Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shrina Shingadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Vishnu Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.